You don't care who
Your
dies.
hands are the one that's
Christian
covered
or
in
Muslim.
blood, not mine.
But we've seen you.
Not mine. I'm not denying the Christian genocide, but you are.
It's not
Shame
going to
on you.
happen to Nigeria.
Shame on you. Right now, you have a Muslim president, and then they decided to choose a Muslim vice president, and so there is actually no Christian representation in the Islamist government.
Hello, my people, and welcome back. Guys, the long-awaited interview between the Nigerian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, and the UK journalist, Perry Morgan is out. Guys, this na serious disgrace for Nigeria. Hey, this one now is an international embarrassment. Like, how is Tinubu going to deal with this? See, embarrassment, the way they are embarrassing the nation. Instead of them to just come out and accept the fact, they are just busy disgracing themselves, embarrassing the country. Nigerian government should know better. They should know that US, they have very strong intelligence. Before they come out, they talk all these things. They give their data, everything. They don't already get their facts and figure. They don't already come check wetin dey happen for Nigeria. And moreover, this thing did not start today. That is the problem we have with Nigerian government. When the thing they start small, where they suppose address the issue, they will not. But once the issue don already dey magnify, they go wan come out, wan do damage control. But this damage control is a damage control that at the end of the day, before you go even say make you talk or open your mouth talk, you must disgrace yourself. You must embarrass yourself. So there is nothing to damage control for this matter. It's very obvious. Different governor of Benue State, when Uto was there, he just come out and say there is Christian genocide in Nigeria. Plateau State governor don't already talk, and these are governors for crying out loud. Don't already come out talk am. And as at the time they said it, the press carried this news, and the government, the federal government, did not do anything. They did not do anything. Now they want to do damage control. They go, they send foreign affairs minister, they go, hey, guys, the guy totally went there to embarrass Nigerians. He wouldn't have granted that interview at all. It would have been better he did not grant that interview than this kind of embarrassment. Now they are disgracing themselves the more, embarrassing themselves the more, all just because they want to cover up. Guys, you need to see how the former Canadian MP, Guda Kamara, disgraced our foreign affairs minister. As in, the way she's giving out her questions, giving out her information with fact and figure. Our own foreign affairs minister no even fit come out, counter any of them. Instead of countering those things where she dey drop, he was busy insulting her. So my people, just take a look at this video. You go shame for this country. If you no really shame for this country, now you be say you no really love this country. So guys, abeg watch as you drop your own talk inside this matter for the comment section, and don't forget to like. Also help us to share this video. Thank you very much. As you now take a look.
How many Christians have been murdered in Nigeria since 2009?
Since over the last 5 years, I can categorically tell you that 177 have been killed. And it does not mean that the killing...
But you said to me... You said to me earlier you did... Yeah, but hang on. Foreign Minister, with respect...
Muslims. They are not necessarily Muslims.
Foreign Minister...
To understand that.
Foreign Minister, with respect, earlier when I asked you that question, you said you didn't know the number because many of the people who've been killed, you didn't know what religion they were. So which is it?
Yes, so I am telling you, number killed when churches were attacked. I told you the number of the churches that were attacked.
Now, how many Christians? You misunderstood my question. How many?
I
want to know.
7.
Yes, but Foreign Minister, you have had. What you're saying is that you dispute the numbers of Christians that have been reported to have been killed, but you have no idea how many Christians have been killed. What we surely can agree on is how many Christian churches have been destroyed. Do you know how many? Then how many Christians have been murdered since 2009? And if it's not 18,000 Christian churches that have been destroyed, how many is it? A simple question. If somewhere between 50 and 100,000 Christians have been murdered in Nigeria since 2009, depending on which bit of data you want to take up, and 18,000 Christian churches have been destroyed, why isn't it, as some people are claiming, a genocide against Christians in Nigeria?
Well, to begin with, those figures are completely and totally inaccurate and false. And many in the media have examined them, they fact-checked them. So they come from Inter-Society and Open Doors, and they've been shown to be totally inaccurate. What we have in Nigeria is a multi-ethnic, multi-tribal, multi-religious country of 230 million people. Our nation building project is not an easy one. We have suffered from the effects of things that we have no control over, exogenous factors such as the breaking up of the Libyan state, the killing of Gaddafi, the proliferation of weapons and fighters that have cascaded down to the northern fringes of Nigeria and beyond, and have affected the entire region. The failure of the EU Sahel strategy over the years. These are all things that we are suffering the effects of. And we do have Boko Haram in the Lake Chad region that affects not just Nigeria, but 3 other countries, Niger, Chad, and Cameroon, that we've been contending with through the multinational joint task force that allows the troops of the countries in the region to pursue the terrorists. 50,000 insurgents and people that were caught in the region of the insurgency having surrendered, and we were in the course of processing them, and some were being rehabilitated, others were being processed through the legal system when Niger had to pull out because of the failure of the EU Sahel strategy and the military coup that was experienced in Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali.
Then how many Christians have been murdered since 2009? And if it's not 18,000 Christian churches that have been destroyed, how many is it?
We in Nigeria have Christians, we have Muslims, we have atheists, we have animists, and when we're counting death tolls, we don't necessarily go by religion, and quite often it's difficult to even identify what religion an individual that has just lost their lives belongs to. And what we are concerned about is that they are Nigerians first and foremost. And we've seen these sort of agitations by faith-based organizations that is a prelude to the breaking up, to the dismemberment of countries. We've seen it in Sudan. We know this playbook. It's happened. There were agitations to create South Sudan, which was expected to be a predominantly Christian country, separate from North Sudan, which is meant to be a Muslim country. Now we have a situation where there's fighting, continuous fighting in South Sudan. There's another round about to kick off. The same thing in the North Sudan.
Okay, but let me interrupt.
Muslim fighting each other. So we don't want to be the next Sudan. We will not allow ourselves to be the next Sudan.
No, I understand that.
Where are the faith-based groups that were agitating and to be dismembered? They're no longer there to fix Sudan.
Okay.
Not North, not South.
Okay.
It's Nigeria as a member of the Peace
Let me jump in if I may.
With heavy lifting.
Foreign Minister, if I may, I'd like to jump in if I may, because you do seem to be avoiding my questions. You know, you don't seem to know how many Christians have been murdered, which I find surprising.
I'm not.
Well, you haven't given me any. You've told me you don't know. Well, just with respect, sir, you have not given.
Nigerians, so
no, I know what you said. I understand.
Same as those that.
But you are, yes. But what you're saying, if you could let me speak, what you're saying is that you dispute the numbers of Christians that have been reported to have been killed, but you have no idea how many Christians have been killed. Because joining me now is the former Canadian MP Goldie Gamari, host of the Goldie Show, who has spoken out frequently at what she says is a genocide against Christians in Nigeria. Goldie Gamari, welcome to Uncensored. What is your response to the Foreign Minister of Nigeria, who says there is no genocide? The numbers of those who've been killed, number of churches attacked, has been wildly exaggerated?
Well, first of all, Pierce, thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here. Pierce, if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, it probably is a duck. There is a reason that we're seeing these Islamic militants going around and yelling Allahu Akbar. That's not by coincidence. There's a reason that they are attacking Christians on Christmas Eve. Let's not forget that back in 2014, almost 300 Christian schoolgirls were kidnapped by these Islamic militants. 80 of them, their whereabouts are still unknown. Pierce, what's happening in Nigeria is jihad. It's the exact same thing that happened on October 7 by Islamists when they broke into Israel and murdered Jews, yelling Allahu Akbar. It's the exact same thing that ISIS terrorists did to the Yazidis in Iraq. It's the exact same thing that happened in Lebanon. Pierce, the only difference between what's happening today in Nigeria versus what happened 1400 years ago when the Muslim Arab invaders came to Persia is that back then people did not have cameras, but today they do. It is 100% jihad. We've seen it before. This is how the Islamist playbook always happens.
Well, I don't think that the foreign minister was denying that bad things have been happening. He's just denying that it constitutes a genocide and that the numbers
of course, because his government is a part
of
it.
Of murders of Christians.
I think his government is complicit. Right now, you have an Islamist government in Nigeria. One of the things that he didn't mention to you is that typically it's been a constitutional convention in Nigeria that if the prime minister is Muslim, then if the president is Muslim, then the vice president is Christian. If the president is Christian, then the vice president is Muslim. This is intended to have a proper representation of the Nigerian population. Right now, you have a Muslim president, and then they decided to choose a Muslim vice president, and so there is actually no Christian representation in the Islamist government. By the way, this is a government that is working closely behind the scenes with the Islamic Republic of Iran. You should ask the foreign minister why Nigerian school children are holding pictures of the Ayatollah, who is a brutal dictator and is murdering my people in Iran. People need to look into the linkages between the current Nigerian government and the Islamic Republic of Iran. I was a politician for 7 years, Pierce, and I can tell when someone is lying and avoiding the truth. That's exactly what this foreign minister is doing, and shame on him for lying.
Foreign Minister, your response to that?
With all due respect to the lady, I'm sorry, I forget her name. She has already exposed her ignorance and lack of knowledge about Nigeria, and it's easy for her to sit thousands of miles away and play games with people's lives. These are real
I'm not
lives
the one
we're
playing
talking
games
about.
with people's lives. 7,000 Christians
do not
have been
interrupt
murdered
me.
in
Do not interrupt me.
Nigeria.
I do not interrupt
7,000
you.
Christians have been
And,
murdered in Nigeria.
and
Who's playing
clearly
games with people's
does
lives?
not
It's
even
not
know
me.
whether Nigeria has a president or a prime minister. You can see how she's waffling, she's stumbling. But this is typical of.
I think you're showing your own ignorance. The fact that you're not able to actually counter what I'm saying, and instead you're going after these things that are irrelevant, that just shows how ignorant you are.
Rattling.
How many Christians have been murdered in Nigeria since 2009?
Since over the last 5 years, I can categorically tell you that 177 have been killed. And it does not mean that the killing.
But you said to me. You said to me earlier. You said to me earlier you did. Yeah, but hang on. Foreign Minister, with respect.
Muslims. They are not necessarily Muslims.
Foreign Minister.
To understand that.
Foreign Minister, with respect, earlier when I asked you that question, you said you didn't know the number because many of the people who've been killed, you didn't know what religion they were. So which is it?
Yes, so I am telling you, number killed when churches were attacked. I told you the number of the churches that were attacked.
No, how many Christians? You misunderstood my question. How many? I want to know. I want to know.
7.
Yes, but Foreign Minister, you have had. Okay, I mean, Goldie Gamari, let me bring you back in there. I mean, there's no doubt that tens of thousands of moderate Muslims have also been murdered by Islamists. We can argue till the cows come home, frankly, about what the exact numbers are. But clearly, a lot of Christian churches have been attacked. So have a lot of mosques, where it is believed that the people who are, observing their faith there are too moderate for the Islamists. So it seems like the Islamist groups like Boko Haram, like ISIS, are targeting pretty much anybody that they don't agree with, be that moderate Muslims or Christians. Is this not, as the foreign minister is putting forward, a case of it's not just Christians being targeted and persecuted, it's also moderate Muslims, and that there's a general wider problem with Islamist terrorism?
Well, there's definitely a problem with Islamist terrorism, but just because Muslims are being murdered, it does not negate the fact that there is a targeted ethnic cleansing of Christian Nigerians. One does not negate the other. What we can conclude from this is that there is definitely an Islamist problem. Now, one thing that the Nigerian minister is purposely forgetting to put out there is that it's not just Boko Haram, it's also the Fulani militants. Not a lot of people know about the Fulani militants. The Fulani Islamists are also the ones who are generally targeting the Christian Nigerians, especially in the Plateau Belt. And I've had several Nigerian Christians come on and speak about this. In fact, I have seen videos where you have the Fulani militants, on their motorcycles with machetes. They're driving through various towns, and you have the Nigerian military who's supposed to prevent them from going. They're getting orders to stand down and allow the Fulani militants to go through. Again, Pierce, the loss of life is horrible. But as you can tell from the minister, he's avoiding questions. He's avoiding eye contact. Instead of actually answering the questions, he's focusing more on trying to attack me and trying to, go after me because I'm not as familiar with the Constitution. I don't need to be familiar with the Constitution of Nigeria to understand that, over 50,000 Christians have been murdered since 2009. I don't have to be familiar with the Constitution of Nigeria to know that when someone yells Allahu Akbar before they massacre 200 Christians and burn Christian churches, that's not just banditry, that's jihad. And I think the reason that the foreign minister does not want to admit this is because they are somehow complicit in this. And, he is purposely saying that he is willfully ignorant, because how could the Nigerian government not know if those people who have been murdered are Christian or Muslim? The reason that he's avoiding saying that is because if they actually put out formal numbers about the numbers of Christians targeted and murdered, then they will have to admit that there is a genocide. They don't want to admit that there's a genocide, but that's exactly what's happening, and I'm glad President Trump and others are calling it out.
Foreign Minister, finally, your response to that.
Well, like I said, the lady and people like her trade in starting wars in faraway places where they have no contact, they have no understanding of, and they can do that from their armchairs from a safe distance. It's a real life situation. This lady would not know the difference between a Fulani man, a Tiv man, an Igbo man, if they stood in front of her. But you can see clearly overnight, because it pays, she's probably making money out of it.
I'm getting $0 for this. I'm getting paid zero. I'm getting paid zero for this. I have been speaking out against human rights violations. Listen, Pierce, as you can tell, he's not able to actually answer anything that I'm saying. All he does is just attack me and attack my credibility.
As many
So I
times
think
as I
this
would
shows the viewers exactly where the Nigerian
she
government
is going to keep on insisting that she has not heard the figures. So that's what she's trying to do. Start a war. They want to break up Nigeria the same way they broke up Sudan, and now they've run away. She's not talking about Sudan anymore. She's not talking about South Sudan.
I actually have talked about Sudan in other episodes as well.
For Sudan to be dismembered. This is what they do. This is what they do. What they try to do to Africa. Nigeria is the largest country on the African continent. It is the largest shock absorber to the African continent in terms of admitting migrants, in terms of freedom of religion. It's Africa's largest democracy. But people like you, who don't really care about freedoms, about the freedoms of either Christians or Muslims or Africans, will continue to agitate for the breakup of Nigeria, for war. the same way that it's happening in South Sudan, and you've kept mum because you've moved on.
The reason that I know that you are working with the Islamic Republic of Iran is because the Islamic Republic puts out the same narrative about balkanization. That balkanization narrative is something that the Islamists constantly use.
That Africans are losing their lives. To you, it's just another black country to be broken up. You don't care who dies.
Your hands are the one that's covered in blood, not mine.
But we've seen you.
Not mine. I'm not denying the Christian genocide, but you are.
It's not going to happen to Nigeria.
Shame on you.
Move on to your next project. Move on to your next. You're disgrace. You're a disgrace to the Canadian nation. I'm shocked that you say that you actually practice as a politician in Canada. Move on to the next episode. Leave us alone.